We're going to analyze a composition by Bach, only a different Bach. I was assigned this piece when I was taking piano lessons and I was about 13 years old. And this piece is called Solfeggietto. It's a short keyboard piece, solo keyboard piece written in 1766 by Carl Philipp Emanuel Bach. Of course, he is one of Johann's sons. The term solfeggietto means an exercise or a little study. And this is easily C.P.E. Bach's most famous piece. So what we're going to do, similar to what we did with one of Johann's pieces, is we're going to analyze it as though it were a popular song. We're going to add the chords, and I'm also going to point out a few other music theory related things. So let's now switch to the overhead camera. And incidentally, you're hearing the piece now played in the background as at a normal tempo. So I'm going to be playing it much more slowly so that we can take a closer look at how this famous piece is put together. Now, you can find some videos here on YouTube where performers show you how fast they can play it. Well, that's not our purpose here. So let's switch to the overhead camera and take a closer look at Solfeggietto.
So let's play through this piece together and figure out what the chords are. Even though this piece is monophonic, in other words, we have one note at a time for the most part, we can figure out what the chords are by looking at the notes that C.P.E. Bach uses as we go through this together. So right from the beginning, it's very clear that we have C minor. And then it goes from there to G major, C minor, and then back to G. Now notice the pattern that we have here. Right hand, left, right, right. And then the whole thing repeats an octave higher, C minor, G, C minor. Now we have something different, C minor. Now we have another chord that we haven't seen yet, F minor, B flat, E flat. So you'll notice that what we have here is a circle of fifths progression. The bass note is going from C to F to B flat to E flat. We're also modulating now to another key. The E flat could serve as our pivot chord. In the key of C minor, E flat is the major third chord. 1, 2, 3. But in the key of G minor, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Same chord. This is our pivot chord. And then we go from there to an A half diminished seventh chord. Now at first we only have these two notes to kind of imply that chord. Normally you'd want all of these notes, but we're going to get there. Right now, Bach is kind of setting the table, if you like, by giving you a little glimpse of what's coming. And these G sharps are what we call lower neighbors. We haven't really gotten into non-harmonic tones yet. That'll be another area of study as we analyze pieces like this, and songs too. Next, we do have the fully formed A half diminished seventh chord. It's inverted. That would be the bass. And that leads us to D7. So now we are clearly modulating to another key because D7 is the 5/7 chord in the key of G minor. And now we have that same pattern again, only transposed to a different key. Now G minor is what we would call a closely related key to C minor. It's only one step over on the circle of fifths. Many Baroque and classical composers, when they modulated, would modulate to a closely related key. Romantic composers, on the other hand, would often modulate to distant keys. But anyway, here we are in the key of G minor. Same pattern, repeating an octave higher each time. G minor, D, G minor, and then we have the chord G minor outlined for us, and then we have G7 over F, which leads us back to C minor. So we're briefly back into our home key, but now we have this C7 over B flat, which leads us to F minor. And so now we have modulated again by using this chord to get to this one, F minor, C7. Now we are clearly in another closely related key, only going one step the other way on the circle of fifths, and we have that same pattern again. C, F minor, C, F minor, C, F minor, and now we have a whole measure of F minor. We're getting prepared for something new here. It's kind of like the dramatic part of the piece. All of a sudden, we hit this big D flat. This is the major 6 chord in the key of F minor. Notice we have the D flat chord outlined for us with this little neighboring tone to give it a little flavor. But now the bass moves down chromatically, and we're in F minor over C. Then another chromatic movement in the bass brings us to this very dramatic B diminished, which leads us back to our home key of C minor. But now look what happens. We go to this C7, F7, B flat 7, E flat 7. We're going around the circle of fifths. A flat 7, which leads us dramatically back to C minor. And then one final big G7, and now we're back to our beginning pattern, just like the beginning of the piece. G, C minor, G, C, C minor that is, G, and now we hang out on C minor. So there's a quick and not necessarily complete analysis of Solfeggietto by C.P.E. Bach. A very famous piece. Perhaps if you've studied piano like I did, you were assigned this piece when you were very young. It's a good study in evenness of playing and a delicacy of touch in order to make it sound nice and smooth.
Thank you for watching and for listening. I hope you found this helpful. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, please be sure to leave those in the comments section, and I will be sure to respond. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. That helps YouTube send my videos out to others who might be interested in content like this. If you'd like to support my work, you can go to my Patreon page. It doesn't cost very much to become a patron of At Home with Music, and you'll have access to all kinds of supplementary materials and special messages from me. You'll also have the opportunity to directly message me through Patreon. So I will leave a link to my Patreon page in the description. Thank you again for watching, and I look forward to speaking to you in the next one.
Just for fun, here's my entry into the world's fastest rendition of this piece.